So we're gonna go over essentially the details of net present value, um, look through a detailed example, how to apply net present value, using the NPV rule to choose among projects, and basically the main rule with NPV is that only cash flow is relevant. So what does that mean in terms of accounting? Is that we're basically looking at just cash accounting. In other words, cash basis accounting when we determine what is cash, what is not cash. What to discount. And essentially what this goes through is how to create a cash accounting based income statement on an annual basis. So basically all we're doing is doing accounting on an annual basis of cash, of everything that occurs to the project, and we apply a discount rate to it. So this is basically, for you guys, I know you guys are mostly accounting students, this is not a huge difference. We're just kind of applying cash account. We're basically learning how to do cash accounting. Um, Inflation, we have nominal rates and we have real interest rates. So it's not the same because we're basically trying to see what is the true discount rate even if you have inflation and then you have risk. So you have a couple rates. So the real discount rate is 1 plus the nominal discount rate divided by 1 plus the inflation rate. That basically see the real non-inflationary rate. And then we can see essentially what is going on here is that we're seeing how much things grow, but then we're discounting by the real rate versus the discount rate. So we're just kind of seeing how things are discounted with the real rate, nominal figures, and real figures. Example, so you invest in a project that will produce real cash flows of negative 100, then 35, 50, and 30 in the 3 respective years. If the nominal discount rate is 15 and the inflation rate is 10, what is the NPV of the project? So basically the real discount rate is 1.15 over 1.1 minus 1 is equal to 0.045, and that's what we're using. So we can basically discount the cash flows each year by the real rate to the exponent of the year, and we can see it's actually the same thing as we did here. And we can see that's basically we have inflation, adjusted figures, and then we're dividing it by the risk rate plus the inflation rate, and then we're getting essentially the same NPV as if we used just the real discount rate, which is 0.045. Now we're gonna look at this IM&C guano project and look at what's going on here. So basically this is essentially it's kind of like a capital budget, and this is something that originally this class was created to have a CMA exam review in a way embedded in the program in case you want to do the CMA in addition to the CPA or just the CMA itself. So this is something that you would very much encounter in a private company where you're doing a capital investment into something very specific, and you're seeing how that gets affected throughout the years. And we're including everything. I think what's good here is that we have the accurate depreciation and the accurate tax, and all of that included. We can see what is basically the profit on an annual basis just for this project. So I think this is just basically project-based accounting, and we can basically see the NPV figures. So we have the profit figures right here, and all we're doing that's a little sophisticated, we're basically discounting everything that's like on the bottom line, 1537. So the NPV is basically our cash flows, and we are essentially aggregating all the cash flows, nominal cash flows, and we're seeing what that would amount to. So net cash flows, we have to sum a couple things up. The net cash flows is 1 plus 2 plus 7. So not only are we looking at cash flows and inflows, we have a change in working capital, which, if you know basically from the cash flow statement, that will be a change in cash. That will affect your change in cash. As you increase liabilities, you actually are getting more cash, and as you reduce liabilities, you're getting less cash. So change in working capital will affect your cash flow. So it's your spending, change in working capital, and operating cash flow, which is basically, in a way, your cash flow change from operations, from selling and from paying for inventories and things like that. But the net figures are in column 8, and that's what we're seeing here, that we can discount now, and we can see that the net present value at the 20% rate is positive over a period of 7 years. So we can basically see that the project itself is profitable. And I think this is the example that you could really work with, because this is something that you may want to know in order to do in the future to determine the profitability of a specific project.